Welcome to our special series celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. I'm your host, Traci Martinez. I am the office managing partner of our Columbus, Ohio office here at Squire Patton Boggs, and also the proud champion of our employee resource group, Juntos, which means together in Spanish and Portuguese. Today, it is my privilege to be joined by my colleague, Magali Ferreyra Alvarez. Magali is originally from Argentina and is a business immigration associate in our labor and employment team in our London office. Welcome, Magali, and thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Well, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. You have such an interesting journey coming from Argentina to London. Can you tell us a bit about your background and how you ended up in London?
So I was born and raised in Argentina most of my young and adult life, and I came to London coming to 11 years now, so a while ago, to do a master's. Originally after uni, I finished a law degree in Argentina, kind of was unsure about what to do next. I guess a lot of people can relate to that. And then I said, what best to do than travel and study at the same time? So I came here to do my master's very much with the plan of going back after finishing my one-year master's, which was in human rights law. And then life happened and I decided to stay in London. And here I am 10 years later, very much happy to be here.
Well, that is so fascinating. So as we are celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, as you know, I have to ask, have you stayed connected with your Argentinian roots while living in the UK?
Well, that's a very interesting question. I think that has changed throughout the years for me, because at the beginning of my experience here in London, it was very much about taking in the English culture and the culture here and trying to feel like I fitted in. So it was definitely a slow journey of kind of, I wouldn't say ignoring my roots because it wasn't that, but I was living with family at the time, and my cousin was very much like, you need to have English friends. You need to not speak Spanish. Don't be connected to anyone Latin, just, submerge yourself in the experience. So I took his advice, and it was very good in a way, because I was able to create very good connections and build friendships here. And, it's a very kind of bumpy ride sometimes moving abroad and feeling a bit homesick. So it was good advice. But then eventually I did start to feel like I was a bit disconnected from my roots. And I would say in the last 6-7 years, I was able to reconnect with people that I actually knew from Argentina that moved here, and, word of mouth of like, oh, I know this person that studied here, and then started building my group and my kind of support group here. And I'm very happy to say that nowadays I have some of my best friends are from Argentina. They live here. We get together very, very frequently. And the ways we connect with the culture is food. Usually trying to, there's a lot that has to do with having a good asado, like with a barbecue, or going to an Argentinian restaurant, or just getting together and eating some good food, listening to music that relates to us, going to events. There was the World Cup a couple of years ago that we won, so we were very proud about it. So it's about like finding those events and like kind of surrounding yourself with people from your country or people that love your country, and it kind of fulfills a lot of that emptiness that sometimes you feel, and it makes your heart warmer.
I love that story, because I think that is a lot what Juntos is aiming to do in connecting lawyers across the globe. Now, it's interesting because you said that you took your family's advice and immersed yourself with English friends and the language. If you had to do it again, would you do the same thing? Would you take that time before reconnecting with your roots, or would you follow the same path?
Oh, that's a hard question. I think I would do the same. I think no regrets. It was definitely a journey, because it's the first time you move abroad as a foreigner. You definitely feel like an outsider sometimes. And I guess doing it that way made me feel like I belonged a bit more. It was good to, diving into the language. When I first came here, I spoke English, but the slang and the accent and the different accents in the UK, I was like, is English? It was very confusing. So I think I would do the same, because it was kind of shock therapy type of thing. And then in the last few years, I was like, okay, now I'm ready to go back to my roots a little bit.
Yeah, that's great. So let's shift gears a bit and talk a little bit about your professional journey. What's your work at SPB?
So I do business immigration, which is part of the labor and employment department. And we very much help clients to deal with all their immigration strategy when it comes to global mobility in the UK. So I specialize in UK law, but we also sometimes act as a kind of coordinator if they need advice for other jurisdictions. So it's very much a holistic advice from not just giving visas or helping clients get visas, but also from a strategic perspective, from a business perspective, what's cost efficient, how do they remain compliant. So it's very interesting. I've been doing it for 8 years now. So it's very good.
So important work, right, for our clients and helping their employment base stay mobile and be able to meet the business objectives of their businesses. So do you think that your background and your heritage has influenced at all your approach to the work that you do as an immigrant yourself, right? And is there any matter or something that stands out to you as part of your professional journey that you're particularly proud of or you're happy to be part of?
So yeah, first of all, that's absolutely right. As an immigrant myself, I think I can relate more to the clients and the employees that we help because I can understand how kind of unsettling sometimes the experience can be. So I try to make the journey as seamless and as easy as possible for the client. And hopefully that kind of experience that I had myself gives me that inner insight of how, it's a very, very kind of nerve-wracking experience. And then when it comes to kind of my background and cultural heritage, I think as an Argentine, I think we're very much, it's sometimes a bit loud, but we're also very approachable and very, very sociable. Like we love building connections. And I think that's something I have really taken on board in all my professional journey, because I do think it's about building connections. Life is about that, but at work as well. And I'm so interested in just getting to meet people and learning about them and learning about their journeys and their backgrounds as well. So I think I love that, and I think I've taken that as well, and hopefully people enjoy that part of me.
I actually think that's such a perfect segue into kind of what I wanted to ask you next, which was, Juntos, which is why we're here. So what benefits in this large global law firm that we have, what benefits does that bring to you, especially as, time differences can be tricky and things of that nature?
Square Button Box is really good at creating employee groups that help you connect with people that have similar interests and backgrounds and, heritages. And I think with Juntos, it has been a really, really fulfilling experience for me because it's not only about meeting people that share my heritage or that are interested in my heritage and my background, but it's also meeting such new people that I wouldn't have been able to meet probably in just you, Traci, and the rest of the team. And time difference, I think we're navigating it quite well, despite today is very early for you, so thank you. But I think it speaks volumes that we are able to connect across the world and have these conversations and that people are actually interested in each other. I think that says a lot. And the time difference is an issue, but not that much. But we are thinking about where we're actually launching our Europe chapter of Juntos, which hopefully will open doors to people across continental Europe and the UK to join the team, to join the group. And hopefully the time difference won't be an issue then.
I don't think it will. I'm so pleased to be joining you from Mexico, which is my cultural background here today. So we are a bit of a time zone difference, but it really didn't affect us at all. And I think you're right. The way that we've been able to meet people through Juntos has been just really incredible. And seeing the passion that each of us have that we can bring together and share collectively has been really special for me as well. So I'm glad to hear that you are really diving in to help bring more connectivity across the pond from the U.S. side, which I think just strengthens the ERG that we have. And so we thank you. You were a shining light from the first day we talked. And I'm like, I'm so glad to have her on board. And I think that you're going to make a real meaningful difference in other people that haven't joined yet that may not realize the benefits that they'll receive. So thank you for that. Is there anything else that you would like to share before we sign off here today?
I think just that if anyone is thinking about moving abroad or, making some sort of move of any sort, I would encourage them to do it. I think I have never learned so much about myself as I did when I moved to another country. I think being an outsider, as I said before, is not something that people experience sometimes. And you learn so much about your strengths and you just grow so much as a human being. And I'm so excited to keep being a part of Juntos, to expand the Europe chapter and to keep meeting people. I think, as I said before, it's all about connections and just making us a stronger team and a stronger law firm.
Well, thank you so much, Magali, for sharing your journey and insights with the firm this morning. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you and learning about your life in London and your professional path. So we also want to say thank you to all of our listeners for tuning in to this episode of Hispanic Heritage Month's podcast. Stay tuned and please join us next week where we will have another amazing guest from Squire. If anyone has any questions or would like to get involved with the Juntos ERG, please do reach out to the Office of DEI, or I think I can speak for you or Magali or myself or any other member of the Juntos team. Thank you, and have a fabulous day.